What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the Mets PostGame Show right here on the channel and on X. And what about that comeback win, guys, in extra innings as the New York Mets beat the Philadelphia Phillies 4-3 in extra innings, sweep the series against the Phillies, sweeps the homestand, and now have the best record in baseball in 18-7, 11 games over 500. Spam those W's, everybody. Let's do it for our boy Chris, who can't join us for the post game, but spam those W's, guys. Swept the homestand. What a game. What a win. What a sweep. The Phillies can't beat us. They made every mistake they can possibly make. They made every bad at-bat turn into an even worse at-bat. And listen, when things are going right, you get the calls. Look, that was obviously a balk by Diaz stepping off 3 times. We all know it. But sometimes you got to get a little luck on your side. And you know what? Pay off those umpires a little bit. Let's get a little luck on our side. We never have luck. Ever have luck. And the New York Mets pulled out a victory. What about Pete Alonso? Starlin Marte coming through in extras to get the game-winning hit. Pete Alonso to score. Mets win. Beat the Phillies, sweep the Phillies. We can send their asses on to Chicago that face the Cubs and let them cry home on the plane. The New York Mets are the best team in baseball, 18-7, guys. How is everybody doing? How are you feeling on this Wednesday afternoon? Damn, it feels good to be a Met fan right now, guys. Make sure you hit on that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber of the channel. And don't forget, guys, subscribe to Chris's channel at True Mets Talk as well. How you feeling, guys? Let me know in the chat how you feeling. How are we feeling right now? We got Chris in the chat right now, spamming those W's as well. Pumped up right now. Really, really pumped up. And for some reason, okay, now the comments are coming through. There we go. I was like, where are the comments? We got Committee. Who we got? We got Explosive. We got Cindy. We got Christina. We got Chris, of course. We got Raul. We got Jay. We got Brad. We got, who else is here? We got Jay Long. We got Jay Bags. Jay Bo, excuse me. Elvin. We got Q Art. Buster. Lynn. Let's get Elgood. I mean, here we go. Luminous. Let's go. Rels. Let's go. Let's go. Where are the brooms, man? Philadelphia is the cleanest city in the country right now because we're sweeping with those wonderful brooms that we just played and just beat the hell out of those Phillies. We got Brad, Elvin, Mets Nation, Steve. Keep it going. New York Living. What's up? Frank, Duran, Mr. Delight for you. Let's go, guys. Let's go. This is what I'm talking about. This is what expectations that this team had. M Pound is in the chat. Ray's in the chat. Let's go, guys. Keep them coming, guys. Stony in the chat. Everybody's here today, guys. I love it. I love it. I love it. The expectations this team has, they had a ton of pressure. We all talked about it. They have lived up to it. Guys, on a Wednesday afternoon, regular day during the week, the Mets had 36,000 people in this ballpark. This is how alive the Mets fan base is. And yeah, it had a lot to do with signing Juan Soto. A lot of those tickets sold, but a lot of, you know what, same day tickets bought as well, guys. This team has been playing outstanding. Even today, how many chances did they have to get runners in, you know, big at bats? You know what I'm saying? Yet they still find a way to win a ball game. And you know what? Kudos to Brett Beatty. Getting that blast off of Zach Wheeler, that was a bomb. That was nice to see. He actually lifted a ball, but that was a shot. 425 feet. I mean, he turned on that fastball and, you know, never looked at it again. That was great. Nice to see. What about Acuna coming up big with that base hit to Alvarado? That was huge, right? How about that? How about that? But what about Max Kranick coming in for the injured Edwin Diaz? And that's a little bit of the negative side. I know people are like, well, Edwin Diaz will probably blow it anyway. But, you know, he was pointing at his side, maybe his hip. Hopefully Edwin Diaz is okay. I don't know if Mendoza is talking about it on the post game. Obviously, I'm talking to you guys. So if you hear anything about the Diaz situation and Mendoza says it, which I'm sure they probably don't know much at the moment, but we'll find out maybe what's hurting him. But what about Max Kranick coming in? 2 days ago, pitched through 36 pitches and came in again with basically probably a little bit of warm up and getting the job done, and basically didn't do anything and gave the Mets an opportunity to win. What did we talk about with this pitching? Even when the backs are against the wall, even when they don't have their great stuff. Let's be honest. Max Kranick was struggling out there, but he made the pitches he needed to make. That's exactly what you got to do. The ground ball, the pop up, getting out of that inning and just giving up one run. And that was to Diaz. That was huge right there. And I'm sorry, guys. I felt like we were going to win that ball game. Now, I did think that Soto was going to hit his first walk-off home run of the year, of his career. I think a lot of us were like, you know what? Now it's better than ever. But he didn't get it done. But he did move the runner over at the very least, right? He moved the runner over. At least he didn't strike out and do nothing. He moved the runner over. So I guess a tiny bit of credit. Very little. This little. You can see this little. That little space between my fingers, he gets a little bit of credit for that. But then Pete Alonso says, you know what? I'll take care of it. Let me take a ball in the outside corner. And this is why Pete Alonso is different this year. He was 0-2. He was pulling off his last couple of games. He's been pulling off on that slider, on that pitch on the outside corner. That was what Pete Alonso did a lot last year. That was his big problem. But what did he do in that at bat? He adjusted. He didn't try to do too much. He flicked his bat, got the barrel on the ball, and with his strength, he knocked it into the gap. What about that? That's the adjustment that we kept on talking about with Pete Alonso that he didn't make last year until the playoffs. And then he made the adjustment in spring training, and it is huge what he's doing right now. And you know what? He picked up his boy. He picked up Juan Soto. Let's be quite honest about that. That's 100% fact. He picked up his teammate. And you know what? Juan Soto had a hell of a defensive game, throwing that guy out at the plate, making multiple throws to not have the guys tag up. So that was huge during the game as well. Give a little bit of credit for Juan Soto for the defensive part. And Juan Soto has an arm on him. I don't know if you guys remember back to last year with the Yankees. He had the most outfield assists in baseball. So he has a cannon for an arm, and he gets it there. And he made really good throws. I know it was a little offline, but he got it there on one hop. And Senger, credit to Senger as well, diving to get Castellanos at the plate. That was huge. So it seemed like everybody needed to do something today for us to win the ball game. Even Brett Beatty was like, I don't want to go back down to the minor leagues yet. Respect the Brett Beatty on that one, right? Because the Mets could have easily lost this game. They didn't score nothing since the fourth inning with the Brett Beatty home run. But overall, man, I tell you, it doesn't matter who it is. Even Starlin Marte coming in the pinch hit earlier in the game, gets the game-winning hit, gets jammed, gets it up the middle, strong enough to do that. And again, my Lord, how fun is this team to watch? Like, this team's never out of it. I don't think anybody felt like we were going to lose the game. It got a little dicey. Bases loaded. You're like, oh man, here we go. This is where, but this is the difference between the Mets that we all knew, and we've dealt with a lot of nonsense with our New York Mets. The difference ever since June of last year, it has been a continuing progression of just better play, better fundamentals, picking up your teammates, next man up. Because again, this was a next man mentality. Diaz goes down, Kranick comes up, gets the job done. Soto moves over the runner, doesn't do what we probably wanted him to do. Pete Alonso picks him up. Next man up mentality. This is what you need to do to be a team that has the best record in baseball at 18-7. Now you got the day off. We can chill. We can relax a little bit. We got 4 against the Nationals, and I can't wait to go there with a lot of my coworkers, and I know some of them are watching. What's up, guys? I'll see you tomorrow at work. But a lot of us will be there at DC, my coworkers and myself, and obviously the 7 line will be there as well. And a ton of Met fans are going. I already know that. So it's gonna be. It's not really Citi Field South. It's like Citi Field semi-south because it's in the middle of the eastern part of the country, in the middle of that area. So listen, it's gonna be a lot of fun. This team is red hot. No matter what the situation is, it seems like the Mets find a way to do what they need to do. It's not perfect. We all understand that. There's some flaws still. There's still issues that hopefully gets addressed soon and gets figured out. And we're still not at that peak yet, right? The Phillies had every opportunity to win this game, and they found the way to, and again, you got to give the credit to the Mets because they made the pitch, they got the hit, they got the walk, they got the speed, everything they had to do. They just had to do it. And the Phillies made enough mistakes and bad at bats that didn't get the job done. And the Mets took full advantage of it. And again, this was the first test, as I said, to start the series. This was the first real test against one of the better teams in baseball. And make no mistake about it, the Phillies are one of those teams. And the Mets basically took care of business, and they didn't look back. They slammed the door right on the Phillies' face. And again, it's the middle of April. Nobody's talking about the NL East is over, or, the Mets are not going to have to worry about any of the teams. They're absolutely going to. The Phillies are going to be there. The Braves, who just keep winning now, are going to be there probably. The fact that the New York Mets do what they have done over the first 25 games of the season has been probably, and again, guys, let's just say this, 12-1 at home. That's a franchise record, guys. This 2025 New York Mets team has set a franchise record of 12-1 at home so far this year. 2015, they were 11-1. That was the last time they tied the record. And that eventually went to the World Series. And again, that's similar. 1986 team did something similar as well. And now this team has went above and beyond. And there's a lot of chapters left in this season. I mean, 25 games into the season, guys, it felt like we played a season already. That's how it feels. Now, maybe it was the excitement of the offseason, with the playoff run to the NLCS, and then the Juan Soto signing, and then the Pete Alonso late in the offseason signing, and it just got everything, all the juices flowing again, and the excitement into the season. Everybody was excited, and yeah, and Ray, you're right. I'm pumped. And this is why I think we're even more pumped, and why you're not hearing the massive boos for Juan Soto. Because, again, if you look at the numbers, they're not Juan Soto numbers. But he's still providing something at almost every game. It's either the walks, it's either gunning guys at home plate, guys not tagging up, throwing a ball, a seed to home plate. It's the little things that is important here. And even though he's not hitting, he's still providing something to help this team. And we all know he's better than this. That's the beauty of it. We're 18-7, and Juan Soto has basically done, I'm not going to say nothing because that's not fair, but he's done probably the minimum that he should be doing at the very least. Alonso's the MVP of this team. Right behind him is Francisco Lindor. I mean, it's just an outstanding all-around performance. The pitching has been really good. David Peterson struggled a little bit, right? He was 5 1/3, 7 hits, 2 runs. Wasn't great, wasn't bad, but he was just missing his spots in certain areas, and you saw how frustrated he was, giving up those 2 runs. He wasn't happy about that at all. He was a little off. Again, nobody's going to be perfect. What he did, and again, without having his best stuff, he still only allowed 2 runs and still gave this team an opportunity to win, and that's exactly what happened. The Phillies tied the game. Everybody did what they had to do. Jose Butto had to do what he had to do. Kranick did what he had to do. Diaz in the 9th did what he had to do. In the 10th, whatever happened to him, we'll hope it's not that bad. But he had a hip cramp. Okay, that was the report that they said, or Mendoza, whoever. Cool. That's if it's a cramp, then and I don't know. I've had that before, so it's not. It feels like a major injury when you first get it. It's like a sharp pain, so that's understandable. He whips his body, so that kind of makes sense. But let's hope it's only a cramp, and obviously he's probably going to go for MRI, X-ray, and God knows what else. But And I think it was explosive that says we are 18-7. Soto, let me see if I can click. Oh, here we go. Yes. I've been trying to click on the comments for the last 15 minutes. We are 18-7 with Soto not being Soto, no Minaya, no Montas, no Alvi, no McNeil, no Ronnie. Yes. And all these guys are supposed to be on the team. Like, we're getting healthier. McNeil and Alvarez will be back in this Washington series. They will be, I don't know if they're going to be in the lineup, but I'm assuming they will be on Friday in Washington, D.C. So we're getting healthier. We're not getting the performance that we should be getting from Juan Soto or expecting to get from Juan Soto. We haven't seen a pitch from Minaya, a pitch from Montas, and the starters have the best ERA in Major League Baseball. The bullpen is top 2 in the league. It's just all around. Like, you can't even make this prediction. If anybody would have said Juan Soto is not being Juan Soto, Minaya is out, Montas is out, and you got Tyler McGill, Griffin Cannon, David Peterson, Kodai Senga, and just pick your poison and the bullpen, and we would have said 18-7, each one of us would have slapped that person in the face, and probably twice. No, but it wouldn't be believable. But you know what? I pinched myself. I think everybody has. I pinched myself, making sure I wasn't dreaming, making sure this is real. It is. I promise. It's just, this is the best I ever seen the Mets play at home. And again, kudos to the Mets fans. They showed up. Their owner called them out, and they showed up. They've had, on average, in this series, 36,000. The first night was 36,000. Last night was near 40,000. And today was another 36,000 on a Wednesday afternoon. And shout out to Hector, who was there. He was on TV. I don't know if you guys saw him, but Hector from Washington Heights, Blunt Thoughts. They had him with his orange shirt on, with his hands in his mouth. That's Hector. That is not fake at all. That's what he does. So kudos to shout out to Hector. I mean, that's always fun. That's always fun, man. I see my boy Miguel, who I used to work with back in New York with Chelsea. He's probably watching as well. You guys, awesome. I miss you guys. And they were at the game as well. I know so many people that were at the game today. Again, I wish I was there. It would be fun. But, I decided to move down south. Oops. But overall, guys, what a performance this homestand. And the Phillies played hard. They screwed up, but they played hard. And again, they were desperate. They were so desperate. They used everybody in their bullpen. They were running out of guys. They were changing up lineups in this game. They were pinch hitting everybody and their mother. Thompson was just looked like he was running around with his chicken with his head cut off. Didn't get the ball call. Wasn't really, the replay that was at home, even though Castellanos was out. He was too late. It's just the little things. And again, he would have been out anyway. But again, in the 8th inning, you challenge that call. You don't have to look at a replay. You challenge it. But man, I tell you, Rob Thompson made some silly decisions. The errors that the Phillies made, the terrible at-bats they made, the terrible base running. The Phillies did everything to lose this series. But the New York Mets capitalized on all of those mistakes. That's something that the Mets had issues with just 2 years ago, just in April and May of last year. They're capitalizing on those mistakes. They're not missing. They're not getting capitalizing on all the mistakes, but the majority of them, they are. And that's why they're 18-7. I mean, there's not, what else is there to say? It's just amazing. Kodai Senga is pitching on Friday against the Nationals. We don't know who's pitching for the Nationals as of yet, but the Nationals, they got some hitters. They're pesky. They're annoying. It's not going to, again, you got to, coming off this series, a very passionate series. You go into Washington, again, Met fans are going to show up. Trust me when I tell you. They're going to be there. It's going to be out. It's going to be crazy. You're going to see probably, I'm not going to say more Met fans than National fans. That's a little crazy. But the Nationals, they're not winning. They're not a great team. They're not they're a fan base that shows up when they win. Right? It's a weird fan base in Washington. Met fans are going to take over. I mean, I'm ready to go. Friday after work, I'm out. I'm on the road, my 4-hour drive or so to DC, ready to go. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm packed. I want to be packed already, even though I got like 2 days. But it's amazing. And irresistible chicken. I agree. Your entrance, yeah, they're persistent hitters. That's what they are. But you know what? The Cardinals were too. The Cardinals were a team that put the bat on the ball. They had hard at bats. We watched the Cardinals series. Everybody watched them. The Cardinals didn't have easy outs. They kept on being persistent, just like the Nationals are going to be. So the Mets had a test against the Cardinals that are not a good team, but they don't make it easy. The Phillies, who are a good team, made almost every mistake you can think of in the handbook, and the Mets capitalized on most of them. And that's why they swept them. And that's why they swept the homestand. 7-0, 12-1 at home, going on the road for 4, and then coming back home to face a very good Arizona team that scores a lot of runs. So we're finishing up April with Washington and Arizona. You got 7 games there. 5-2, I take it. 5-2, you don't even have 10 losses, excuse me. You're on the 23-9 train right now. And listen, it's an outstanding performance. It's just all around. I just want to check something really quick before I am wrong, but I don't think I think I might be. I think I was right about that, right? Yes, I was. Okay. The Mets are 5 games up in the division. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if it's April. I don't care. That's where you want to be. You don't want to be 7.5 like the Braves, even though they've been winning, but the Mets haven't been losing. So the Mets have gained a game and a half on the Braves, and the Braves have won 5 out of 7. But when you win 7 in a row, well, they don't gain no ground. That's huge. And here's the other thing that's huge. As I said prior to the series, you only face your NL East rivals 13 times. You just took the first 3 of a series of a 13-game series throughout the season. Now there's 10 more games to go against them, but that's a good start because we all expect the Phillies or the Braves to be somewhere around us when it gets into crazy time in August and September. So you want those wins to stack up in the NL East because of tiebreaker purposes. We had that last year, right? We were this close to not making the playoffs because of a tiebreaker. We had to get a little lucky, and we had to have tiebreakers. So we ended up getting to the playoffs, but a tiebreaker could have been a disaster. If the Diamondbacks actually knew how to play baseball in that week, we would have lost the tiebreaker, and we would have been out of the playoffs. So little things like this is so important. And for anybody who says that April games don't matter, talk to Met fans. They're 5 games up on the division, 18-7, 7 in a row. They've had a 7-game winning streak and a 6-game winning streak in 25 games. That is huge. This was the April they needed to have. And again, there's still 7 games to go here. Again, 4-3 isn't the worst thing. I'd like 5-2, but 4-3 is not terrible to end the month. You would end up basically 22-10, which is damn good. It'd be 12 games over 500. Nope, that'd be damn good. I take it. We'll all take it. But remember, this is the April they needed to have because in May, it gets tough. In June, it gets damn hard. So the next 2 months is going to be a month or 2 months that's going to be tough. And this April is where the Mets got to rack up the wins. And right now they're doing it in the first 25 games of the year. They're better than the Nationals. Currently, they're better than the Diamondbacks. They need to win series. Again, 3 out of 4. It's hard to sweep 4-game series. It's hard to win. You got to take 3 out of 4 in a 4-game series against a team that's not very good. Hopefully, and I know OK just said it. Hopefully, Soto going back to Washington kind of like calms them a little bit and gets them a little bit more energized. Because look, I know his body demeanor and his aneurysms don't look good on the field, but Soto is a perfectionist when it comes to hitting. He knows he's struggling. He knows he's not doing what he's supposed to do. He's frustrated. And again, even with the frustration, he's still getting his walks. He's still making defensive plays. So that's a good sign. And I don't think by any second he's like, oh, I wish I was somewhere else. Come on. We have a better record than the Yankees. The Yankees have Aaron Judge and nobody else. We all know that. So hopefully Soto gets it going, and he's gonna. We all know that. So we will see. And hopefully Soto going back to Washington in a Met uniform gets him going. And that would be a nice time to get him going. Kind of, against a mediocre team that has decent pitching and a couple of good hitters. It's a young team, but gets him going a little bit. Takes a little bit of pressure off him, get him out of the way, let him do his thing, and keep it going. Yeah, exactly. Body language will change, right? He's in a new team, first ever big contract. And, he's human. The pressure's getting to him. You could see it. He's trying to do too much. That first pitch he swung at in extra innings, he was trying to go deep. Right? It was a bad pitch to swing at, and he overswung, and he was out in front. That's what you could tell he's just pressing a little bit. He's trying to do too much. Again, what are you going to do? But he did what he needed to do in this game to help the team, even if it was minimal. And it actually was big defensively. So, yeah, damn right he was celebrating. He better celebrate. You're winning ball games. That's what he said. He says, what did he say in spring training? W-I-N, win. That's what he wants to do, win. Now, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do offensively to help us win, do it in other ways. And that's okay. Nobody's living up to a $765 million contract. I mean, ex-Met fans 2 years ago, if Lindor was earning that $300 million contract, I bet he is now. But nobody's worth that money. And it's crazy money. But do what you need to do to help your team in any way you can when you're struggling on any side of the plate. If you're offense or defense, do something to help your team. Juan Soto has done that, at the very least. But they're still winning. Despite Nimmo being basically nothing. Besides Juan Soto, not even close to what he should be doing. It's Lindor. It's Alonso. Terens. It's those guys. Explosive Rob, do you like it? Let me see if I can click on the comments again. That would be nice. Hey, there we go. All right. We're on a roll, guys. 2 clicks in a row, and I got comments popping up. Rob, did you like Mendy going to Diaz for a second inning? With the off day, I had no problem with it. Because who else did he have left? They used Stanek yesterday. Max Kranick shouldn't have been in the game, but he needed to. There was really nobody left to go to. You used Buto. You're really getting it. Brazaban probably he pitched 2 days in a row, over 40 pitches. He had nowhere to go. So I understand why he had to use Diaz a second inning. And Diaz needs to do his job. Again, he got hurt. So I'm not going to kill him because he got hurt. But if he was healthy, maybe he would have got out of the inning with, no runs. Who knows? But where was Mendoza going? He used Danny Young in this game as well. So there wasn't many options for him to use anything, use anybody else, even with the off day. Like, he was kind of shorthanded at that point. So he was trying to get more out of Diaz with the off day to try to save Kranick. Thank God we have an off day tomorrow. And today was the last day of the 13-game stretch in a row with no off days. So luckily, the Mets pulled it out. But the off day is so important tomorrow because you can reset. You probably have Brazaban. You'll probably have Stanek. You'll probably have Minter. Minter wasn't available either. So there was really nowhere to go. It was, all right, Diaz, hold it down. And then, if the game would have went longer, Kranick might have been in the game anyway, but you didn't have a choice. I don't think there was anybody really left. So I'm not going to blame. I'm not going to say I liked it, but he didn't really have a choice. So I'm not going to kill him for not really having any type of choice. Oh, in that case, he really had nowhere to go. Kranick was the only option, but you're not using him when you can use 2. You could have used Diaz for 2 innings. And I think that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to get the most out of Diaz to avoid using Kranick, and that didn't work out. But, if we didn't use Kranick, where were we going? So it would have been interesting who we would have went to if it would have went longer. But I'm not going to say I liked it, but I understood the move because he really didn't have anywhere else to go. Delight 4, yeah, you know what? That's a strong possibility. I mean, if they score that run and Soto doesn't throw him out and Senga doesn't make that dive and play across the plate to tag Castellanos, who knows? We might not even have the opportunity to come back in a ball game, and we might have lost the game. And we're not talking about a walk-off win in extra innings with the Starlin Marte base hit and driving in Alonso. So, yeah, it's the little things. That's not showing up on a box score tomorrow, guys. You know how they always say it? A bloop hit, a big bloop hit, a clutch hit. It can be a bloop, but it looks like a line drive in the box score in the next day in the paper, right? Same thing. You'll have people talk about it. We're talking about it. You in the chat, myself, probably on the radio, they'll talk about it. But again, I don't know how many people open up a paper anymore, but open up your digital paper. It will be talked about with the words, but if you look at the box score, it will have nothing of the sort, right? That wouldn't even be in a box score. You would have to be watching a game where somebody would say it, or whoever is writing in the paper will say a little paragraph of that. So all around, good job. Juan Soto made a couple of throws home that got a runner out, stopped the guy from tagging up, and did what he had to do defensively while he's not helping us offensively. And again, baseball, you can help in two aspects of a game when you're a fielder, when you're a position player, offensively and defensively. He's doing it defensively. He made a couple of good catches in this series, going to the gap. He's been better than Met fans probably expected. How many Met fans were like, he's not worth $765 because he's not a 5-tool player? We all know he's not a 5-tool player, but he's not a butcher in the outfield. He's better than people give him credit for. Not great by any means, but he's above average. Now, he will make his bad routes to balls. He's done that in his career. He'll have those moments. He had won a couple, I think 2 this year, maybe even 3. But he is a better fielder than people are giving him credit for. And again, he came away last year with the most assists as an outfielder in baseball. So he's doing something right. Now we got to get him going with the bat. And hopefully in his old ballpark, in his old haunting grounds, he picks it up and he carries the team for a series. That would be cool. And of course, me and Chris will be there. So that would be even more cooler. But with that said, guys, the Mets are 18-7. They win in extra innings 4-3. They sweep the damn Phillies. They sweep the homestand. 7-0 on this homestand. 12-1 overall at home. Dominating at home. And it's the Mets, the 26 men on the roster, the coaching staff, and the New York Mets fans who showed up to Citi Field every night, every day so far in the 13 games that we played at home this year. So shout out to the Met fans that were out there, averaging 35,000 fans a game. Loud as hell. We all feel the energy through the TV. I know you feel the energy when you're at the games. And now we're going on the road. And Met fans will travel. We're going to Washington. Now, depending on where you are, again, if you're in New York or where I'm at, it's a 4-hour drive south, or 5-hour drive, 4-hour drive north, and you're there. I will see a ton of people I know. I'm going with coworkers, so it's going to be a lot of fun. A ton of Met fans are going to be there, and since they're 18-7 and best record in baseball and playing like this, 7-game winning streak, Met fans that probably was like, I'm probably not going to go. You know what? I'm going to go. It's like that last minute decision. Screw it. They're playing well. I'm going to go. Let me buy a $7 ticket and go to the game. Spend $20 on a beer, $10 for a hot dog. Pay more money for food than the ticket. That's when your team is doing well and the vibes are good and the fan base is energetic and alive. People are just going to be like, you know what? I wasn't going to go, but I'm in, Pennsylvania. I'm in New York. I'm in Florida. Hey, you know what? Let me take a quick flight there. Let's go. I'm driving 4 hours from NC to DC. So, I mean, I planned it out. It was happening, but it's a lot more fun when your team's playing this well. I want to go. You know what? I don't mind spending a little bit more money to go. Spend on the freaking tolls and the gas and all that fun and all that annoying stuff. But when you get there, all that stuff doesn't matter because you're rooting on your team with other Met fans in a road ballpark. There is nothing better, guys. And you probably hopefully most of you been to road games. There is nothing better than cheering on your team on the road and them winning. It is satisfying. Nothing feels better. Going to Philadelphia, I've been there when the Mets won. Fun times. Any ballpark, it doesn't matter because there will be a Nationals fans and anywhere. There'll be a bunch of fans that will try to go back at us and start rooting for their team. When they don't cheer that loud for their team on a regular basis, they will get loud. And it's a back and forth, guys. So overall, guys, it's been so much fun. 25 games through the season. A lot of work still to do, but we know that. And guess who else knows that? That team. They know that. Anytime they speak after a game and a big win, a big series win, and a sweep of a homestand, I guarantee you on the post game, they're probably saying, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's great to be in front of these fans, but they know there's more work to do. They've said it multiple times after games. So they know there's more work to do. They know there's a lot more work to do, and they know this is only the beginning. But it's great to start like this. I'd rather be 18-7 than 7-18. We all agree on that. So, with that said, guys, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. You got the whole late afternoon night to enjoy. Watch all the highlights. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow on a Mets Talk Live on the off day so we can break down this series, the homestand, and preview the Washington series coming up on Friday. With that said, guys, thank you for tuning in to the Mets postgame show right here on the channel and on X. Subscribe, guys. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hit that like button. And don't forget, guys, my co-host, main man, Chris, True Mets Talk with CP. Subscribe to his channel as well. Don't forget that, guys. I'll see you tomorrow, guys, on Mets Talk Live. Maybe I'll have a guest on talking about our New York Mets. Have a good night, guys. Let's go, Mets.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed